Hi guys, okay, so this is a bit more of a serious video. I gotta try and keep myself together for this one. Basically, if you guys have followed me on Instagram, or you've known about me and seen photos or videos of me since years ago, I had this cat called Kitty. One day she turned up just out of the blue. My mum saw her on a bin and basically just said, "I wish you were mine." By the next day, she turned up into our house and never left. We always left the door open for her to see if she would go wandering off, find her way back to whatever home she was a part of, and she never did. She's been with us since 2013. We don't know how old she was. We just assumed she was probably 2. And last year she was diagnosed with lymphoma in the intestines. Luckily it was only like just the cells, no tumors. They discovered it very early on, so she was able to be treated for it. She did very, very well, and you would never know that she was ill at all until I think last month, where she suddenly went downhill, just very suddenly, and she lost quite a bit of weight. So we took her to the vets again, and they ran some more tests and stuff. Then I can't remember the order now, but it was either just before one of her eyes went really weird, or just after. But at one point, her left pupil just went really large, and it would not react at all, and it would not go down at all. So we took her to the vets, and then we had to take her up to specialists, which she had been seeing, and they are the best. They're so sweet, they're so kind. I discovered after an MRI we had multiple tumors in her brain. They wasn't sure whether it was cancerous or not, whether it was a lymphoma, which is super rare, or a separate, more aggressive cancer. Her bloods and everything came out perfect for the lymphoma, organs working perfectly fine, to the point that she was in recession. For a while you wouldn't even realize she had brain cancer, because she was such a fighter. She just carried on and did everything she possibly could. And that was a couple of weeks ago, I think. And last week they decided to start her on a stronger chemo injection, so they gave her that. By the way, there was like a few weeks between where she was just doing really well. And then yeah, so last week, week before, they gave her the injection, and they weren't entirely sure if she would make it. So after a couple nights of staying there for monitoring, she came home with us, and she perked right up. She was her normal self. She was mostly blind, but we think she managed to gain some vision back, because she started going after the pigeons. She started looking into us, like into our eyes and stuff. And then that was Sunday, And then by Monday, she was still pretty much herself, eating and everything. Then Tuesday, she started slowing down. And then Wednesday, she just really didn't look well for a while. She started mouth breathing just for a few seconds. Almost took her to the emergency vets, but it was fine afterwards. And then she had an appointment for Thursday anyway, just for a checkup with the specialist and to give her the steroid injection. So there's us being hopeful. Going Thursday, we gave her this medication called Bonket, which is supposed to be a very mild anti-anxiety, but even after asking specialists and vets and looking it up, it says it's fine to use on a cat that has cancer and is on other medications as well. But little did we know that it can actually, there is a proper name for it, but it can give them like jelly legs, so they can't stand or walk. And the medication is supposed to be in their system for only 7 hours, but for someone in her situation, it can be in for up to 36. And we didn't know that until we got home after Friday. So Thursday night, we stayed close, and she was in for monitoring because she just couldn't stand up at all, and they wanted to check her. And it turns out that the whole left side of her brain had gotten worse, and there was a tumor on like her airways, so there was nothing that they could do, and our only option really was to say goodbye. There was a very slight option to keep her there for 3 weeks under intensive care, but she would have been away from us, and just from one night away from us, apparently she just gave up, and she just wasn't responding. She wasn't lifting her head or reacting to anything. Her pain receptors weren't working, so they allowed us to see her on the Friday, which we did, and she perked up after she saw us. She looked like she could see a bit more again. She tried her best to walk. We picked her up and we kind of put her on the ground so that she could try to stand. I was holding her in a way for support, and for a few moments she could stand without my support, but then her back legs started to just give out on her despite her front legs still standing. We asked the specialist if there is literally any other thing we can do, if there is another option, and they basically said that there isn't, and that her quality of life would be very low, only keep degrading to the point that she could have had seizures or was suffocated. So on Friday, 12th of June, we picked her up. We took her outside. Luckily it was sunny. She loves the sun. And me and my mum sat down on the grass and we held her. She was curled up in my arms. And my mum was on the other side so she could face her. And before it happened, I feel like she could actually see even better than before, because she was looking around and she kind of did this thing where she kind of went into my chest and then looked that way, and kind of looked up, and then she brought her head back round to my mum and rested her head here like that. I have a pleasure. She was kind of like that, so I was holding her like this but more on my lap, and my mum was here just reassuring her from her face, and I was just hugging her as tight as I could, and within a minute because they don't use the injection to put them down. They use the sedative, and then they just use another dose of the sedative, which is enough to stop everything, but it is very peaceful and it happens literally within a minute. So before we knew it, she was gone. So that is what has been going on. I was gonna do a whole update thing for the next few weeks with her, but unexpectedly we had to say goodbye to her on Friday, and it just feels really wrong to be home without her, because she's always been there. She's quite literally a part of us. And she was not a cat. She was in a cat body, but she was not a cat. I am gonna try and still make some videos. It just might not be as goofy as I normally am. I will try. And I won't pretend or fake anything. If I really can't, I'll let you guys know and I'll make a post, or I'll say on my Instagram or something. But yeah, hopefully she's with Star now. And if you don't know who Star is a tabby cat, which again also turned up to us one day, and we just took care of him. We only had him for about 3 years, I think, and on that 3rd year he had a stroke very suddenly. So it's been 2 years, in 2 years February just gone, that he went, and they were very close. Closer than we realized. So hopefully they can see each other again, and yeah. Luckily we have little Misty, who's been a little sweetheart taking care of us. So yeah. Anyways, that's all. I hope that you guys have a great day, and if anyone else has lost a fur friend recently or at all, I hope that you guys are okay as well. And yeah, I love you guys, and make sure you have a great day, great night, and hug your fur baby very tight today and every single day, and make the most of them, because even though they might seem fine now, you never know when it's going to end. Yeah. Okay. See you guys soon.